Hello everyone, in this video we'll walk you through how to operate and use the Topping Professional Control Center. We'll use the E1X2OTG as an example and break it down into 4 parts. These are Function Overview, Routing Logic, Other Settings, and System Settings. Next, we'll begin with Part 1, Function Overview. Let's start with the basic operations. Click the button to enable or disable the corresponding function. Click and hold the knob while dragging up or down, or use the mouse wheel to adjust parameters. Double-click to reset to default. This also applies to faders, except for the monitor mix knob, which must be adjusted on the unit. Click on the digital gain value or fader value to edit it directly, then press Enter to confirm and exit the editing mode. Click and hold the vertical divider with the left mouse button to adjust panel width. Right-click to reset. Let's start with the function details. This is the channel name section, also available in the other 3 areas. Click once to rename. For example, you can rename it to mic vocal, ease instrumental, or DAW output. The MON, 48 volts, inst, and gain functions correspond directly to buttons on the unit. You can configure these on either the control center or the unit itself. The solo button makes the channel play alone. The mute button silences it. When solo is enabled, all other channels are muted except the soloed ones. You can solo multiple channels at the same time. This feature is useful when working with many channels, such as in the mixing section. You can also click mute to silence any channels you don't need. This is the phase invert button. When activated, it inverts signal polarity by 180 degrees. These 2 are digital gain knobs, offering 0 dB to 20 dB digital gain for the input signal, essentially amplifying it, similar to a volume knob. For analog inputs, there's also a physical gain knob on the front panel. These 2 gain controls are independent but cumulative. We recommend adjusting the physical gain first, then fine-tuning with digital gain. This is the level meter, showing the current signal level in dBFs. If the signal exceeds 0 dBFs, the clip indicator lights up. If clipping occurs, you need to reduce the signal level. The level meters in the mix, loopback, and output sections are slightly different from those in the input section. The left and right sides represent the level indicators for the left and right channels, respectively. The outer bars indicate input levels, while the inner bars show output levels. Use the fader to adjust the output level. Now let's look at the row of small knobs above. These are pan knobs, used to adjust the left-right positioning of the audio source. Take the left channel signal as an example. Turning the knob all the way to the right sends the entire signal to the right channel output. Similarly, turning it all the way to the left sends the entire signal to the left channel output. When set to the center, the signal is evenly distributed to both the left and right channels. Below is the link button for stereo linking. When enabled, it links 2 adjacent input channels into a stereo pair for unified control. For example, one fader can control the volume of both linked channels simultaneously, eliminating the need to adjust each fader individually. Additionally, when link is enabled, the pan knobs for the 2 channels are automatically set to far left and far right. Next, let's move on to the most important part, routing logic. The interface is clearly divided into 4 sections: input, mix, loopback, and output. Let's start with input, which refers to the hardware inputs on the E1X2OTG. Analog in corresponds to the front panel input. For example, if you connect a microphone, analog in represents the mic signal, mobile in corresponds to the OTG port. If a phone is connected, it represents the audio signal coming from the phone. These signals are processed by the audio interface and then transmitted to the computer. Now let's look at the output section. Output 1+2 refers to the signal sent to line out 1, 2 and the left or right headphone channels of the audio interface. The left side corresponds to the headphone output, and right side to the line out output. If the button is lit, the output is active. If it's off, the signal is muted. Next to it, mobile out is the signal sent to the connected phone. Here we can see a hidden drop-down menu. Click it to select different output signal sources. We'll talk about mixing later. Let's start with the inputs. For example, if output 1+2 is set to mobile in, both headphones and speakers will play audio from your phone. Similarly, if mobile out is set to analog in, your phone will receive the microphone signal. Still unclear? Don't worry, check this flowchart.
Nice.
Now, about playback, it refers to audio from your computer, such as music from apps like Ease Cloud Music or QQ Music, or sound from software like Studio One or OBS. The E1X2OTG offers for stereo playback channels. You can assign different software to different playback channels for easier independent processing. For example, QQ Music to playback 1-2, Ease Cloud Music to 3-4, Studio One to 5-6, OBS to 7-8. Just select the matching playback channel and you'll hear the sound from the software. Selecting input allows you to hear the microphone, while playback lets you hear the backing track from Ease Cloud Music. So what if you want to hear both the microphone and the backing track at the same time? That's when you need to use Mixer section. In the Mixer section, you'll see both hardware inputs and playback inputs. These signals are essentially copies of the original ones, and you can freely combine them. For example, if you want to hear both vocals and background music from Ease Cloud Music, you can set it up like this, or even this, and you'll hear both at the same time. Within the mixer, you can also adjust the volume of each signal. If you want the background music to be quieter, just lower its fader. Note, these adjustments affect the signal levels within the mix A only. They do not alter the original signal itself. For example, if you mute analog in mix A, you won't hear the mic when using mix A as the output, but the mic signal is still active. Simply select analog in as the output to hear it directly. The E1X2OTG provides 4 mix buses, all sharing the same inputs. You can freely choose different signal sources and adjust levels independently for different purposes. For live streaming, if you only want to monitor background music in your headphones, you can solo the Ease Cloud Music playback in Mix A and set the output to Mix A. Meanwhile, to send both vocals and music to your phone stream, you can set up Mix B with both signals and choose Mix B as the phone output. Here's a flowchart for reference. To send these signals back to the computer, for example, to record in a DAW or stream using live streaming software, you'll need to use the loopback function. Here, select the signal we want to transmit back to the computer. Just like the output section, loopback can select mix, input, or playback sources. For example, if you want to live stream from your PC with both vocals and music, select those signals in Mix A, set loopback 1-2 to Mix A, and then choose loopback 1-2 as the input in your streaming software. At this point, the signal from Mix A has been transmitted. We provide 3 sets of loopbacks, which can be used for different purposes depending on your needs. Next, the third part, other settings. E1X2OTG can be used for live streaming, recording, karaoke, and more. Different scenarios may require different routing settings, which can be saved in separate workspaces. Select New Workspace, enter a name, then press Enter. For example, you can create separate workspaces for streaming and recording. To start streaming, simply select the streaming workspace to switch settings instantly. You can also restore defaults or save as a new workspace. We won't go into detail here, feel free to explore on your own. The Save button is used to store the current workspace settings. If autosave is enabled in system settings, manual saving is not required. If it's not enabled, remember to save before closing the control center. You can also click Download to store the workspace settings on the device. These settings will be automatically applied when the device starts up without the control center. Next is the sample rate setting, with 6 options available. Higher sample rates offer better fidelity but use more storage. Sample rate synchronization is also supported. The sample rate is synchronized across your DAW, control center, and system. Buffer size settings apply to Windows only. Smaller buffer size means lower latency but higher CPU load. If you experience dropouts or distortion, try increasing the buffer size. Now let's move on to the final section, System Settings. Here you can set the language, UI scaling, system scaling behavior, and workspace path default recommended. With auto save enabled, settings are saved automatically. Enable auto start to launch the control center at system startup. Auto update check. will notify you of new firmware or software when connected to the internet. Brightness adjustment allows you to control the brightness of the E1X20TG front panel indicator lights. Auto standby and mobile application features are covered in previous videos. Safe mode adds a bit of latency but improves stability and reduces distortion. Recommended. This section shows the device model, hardware version, software version, and Topping Pro version. Check for updates or visit the Topping Professional website for more information. That concludes our introduction to the E1X20TG Control Center. Thanks for watching. See you next time.